was happy about that. And, you know, I guess the big thing working in my favor is that it's going to be cool tomorrow night, and I think that'll help take away, you know, a lot of the potential fatigue factor.
Yeah, when I talked to Tommy Glavine yesterday, it seemed as though that he was ready to make this start, despite the fact that he mentioned to the press he was probably 85 to 90%. He said it seemed like every hour that passed by he was feeling better and regaining his strength. He's going to need a lot of it tonight to get by this New York Yankee lineup, which now includes a designated hitter with the rules changing in the American League Park. And the DH tonight is none other than Chili Davis, a hitter who has had 350 career home runs. And make no light of that, because the Braves counter with Jose Hernandez as their DH, who's had all of one at-bat as a designated hitter in his career.
Very big change with the next 3 games, if 3 are needed, to be played here at Yankee Stadium, where the designated hitter will be in effect. Coming out to throw out the first pitch, this is Kofi Annan, the 7th Secretary General of the United Nations, headquartered, of course, here in New York. And Kofi Annan on hand and showing no partiality, as he has a World Series jacket on. Not a Yankee, not a Braves jacket, but a World Series jacket. And Joe Girardi, Jim Lurich rather, will be out, and there's the first pitch thrown by Kofi Annan.
It looked like a split finger fastball. You see it dive for the dirt.
Now this is a worldwide broadcast, and that was a worldwide recognition for the first pitch here in New York with Kofi Annan. Umpires and the managers will exchange the lineup cards at home plate now, and on those cards it will show that the New York Yankees are going to be starting Andy Pettitte, their left-hander, tonight, ready to go here in a game at home. And as we said, a lot of postseason experience and some good postseason numbers.
Well, you think back to Andy Pettitte last year, when the final game of the World Series, he won the ball game. But this is Andy Pettitte early in the season, when he struggled somewhat, giving up a lot of home runs. Andy Pettitte is a ground ball pitcher, gets a lot of ground ball double plays. But about midway through the season, with hard work with pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre, things started to turn around for Andy Pettitte. And he really became the pitcher that the Yankees had known in the past few years. Well, you look at the last 4 seasons in the major leagues, there's only been 2 pitchers that have won more games than Andy Pettitte. And even so, the Yankees were thinking about trading him midway through the season. And those 2 pitchers that have won more games are none other than Pedro Martinez and Greg Maddux, 2 of the best pitchers in all of baseball. So Andy Pettitte right up there with those type of pitchers. And we asked Andy Pettitte yesterday about the struggles he had early in the season.
You know, I was just having a lot of trouble throwing strikes and getting the command of my 2-seam fastball. It's a fastball away to righties, and that's a big key for me. And when I'm able to locate away, it opens everything else up for me. And when I was struggling, I lost a little confidence, and you know, all of a sudden you start pitching a little bit better, and then you're not as scared to challenge some hitters in certain situations, and things pretty much just turned around for me.
And tonight, his manager and pitching coach, Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, and Joe Torre, the manager, reiterated how much they wanted him to stay. They want Andy Pettitte on the mound in this game, and the Yankees take the field. Nobody is set down yet. And there won't be a lot of sitting here in Game 3. Yankee fans like to keep it up and keep it rocking. Our MasterCard Atlanta Braves starting lineup. Gerald Williams again leading off. Brett Boone is back in at second base. Chipper Jones third. Brian Jordan cleanup. Andrew Jones will hit 5th tonight. The designated hitter will be backup shortstop Jose Hernandez from Puerto Rico. Eddie Perez is back behind the plate from Venezuela. Hunter makes the start at first base, and Walt Weiss will hit 9th at short.
In the field for the New York Yankees, behind Andy Pettitte. In the outfield, it's going to be Curtis Williams and O'Neill. In the infield, Brocious, Jeter, Knobloch, and Martinez. Joe Girardi doing the catching for Andy Pettitte. We have Chad Curtis highlighted in left field, and he is an excellent defender. This will be his first start ever in the World Series. He is yet to get a World Series hit, and he was looking forward to it one thing you will see from him, as you need here in Yankee Stadium, a very deep left center field. You need an outfielder with good speed and a good arm, and Chad Curtis has both. You can see just behind him there in deepest left center. That's where home runs go to die here at Yankee Stadium. It is 399 feet. That's why you need the likes of Bernie Williams and Chad Curtis in center and in left.
Known as Death Valley here. And that has been a help for pitchers in a ballpark noted for all the Bronx Bombers. It's actually a ballpark much more suited for pitchers. Andy Pettitte this postseason, the 2-0 mark and a 1.84 earned run average. He defeated Texas in Game 2 of the division series, and Boston, he beat them 9-2 in Game 4 of the league championship series, and now gets a chance to stay undefeated in this postseason if he can get the win here in Game 3. Andy Pettitte is 2-1 in World Series appearances and 1-1 in the World Series against the Atlanta Braves. And that postseason experience is what Joe Torre and Mel Stottlemyre kept talking about when others in the Yankee organization were thinking about trading him.
Well, if they had traded Andy Pettitte, they certainly would have gotten a lot in return. I mentioned the fact that how many wins he has had in the past 4 years among the tops in the major leagues. But you need left-handers in your rotations nowadays, especially in the American League. There aren't that many left-handed starters. And left-handers have a tendency to turn the lineup around for the other team and bring in players who don't get to play as often. So that's why you need a left-hander. Every other pitcher in the Yankees starting rotation is a right-handed pitcher.
Ready to go. It is a beautiful night here in New York. It is much warmer here in New York than for either of the games that were played in Atlanta, which is somewhat surprising. A lovely fall day. The temperature's up near 70 here in the city. And tonight, good weather. Game 3. Andy Pettitte, Gerald Williams, and we're underway in a strike on the outside corner. One of the Braves trying to get out of an 0-for. Postseason-wise, just 222 and 0 for 8 in the World Series first 2 games. Pettitte with the 0-1 pitch to him outside. What do the Braves hitters have to do, Kenny, to get going?
Get going against Andy Pettitte. Number one, Andy Pettitte has worked better to both sides of the plate. Earlier when he was struggling, he was trying to throw that cutter in on the hands of right-handed hitters, and then got around the league that he was pitching that way. And then he started going back to the outside corner.
Back inside with the pitch 2-1.
That's the cutter or slider that I was talking about inside. Now Andy Pettitte has become more effective because he's used both sides of the plate with that sinker away and the cutters in.
Williams 286 off left-handers during the year. 2-1 delivered by Andy Pettitte. In the lineup for the Atlanta Braves, their best hitters against left-handers are the Jones boys. Andrew at 271, Chipper at 352 was the #1 hitter off lefties, and Brian Jordan at 331. 2-2. And reached for one way outside.
Well, we talked about the differences in what has happened in this World Series, and the top of the lineup for both of these clubs. These guys are called the table setters. The guys that get on base, can steal bases, move themselves around. The Braves have been almost non-existent with their offense in the first 2 hitters in their order, while the Yankees with Knobloch and Jeter have been on base 9 times and have scored 5 runs, and that's been primarily the difference in this series.
Fans wanting the strikeout. 2-2 delivery to Williams, and he punches it into right field for a base hit. Well, already the Atlanta Braves are ahead of themselves from games 1 and 2. Their first man is on, a leadoff batter in the first inning, and a single to start it out.
Don Baylor gets a little bit happier as watches the style of Gerald Williams, thinking about hitting the ball the other way. Looked like he cut down his swing and just flips the ball into right field for a base hit. And even if it's a cheap hit like that one, you feel like the piano is off your shoulders.
Well, he's now 1 for 9 in the World Series, and Andy Pettitte will make a lot of throws to first base.
And he has probably the best pickoff move for a left-handed pitcher in the American League. Year after year, he leads the league in picking runners off. Very effective, almost a balk move, but very rarely is it called a balk against him because he is so good.
In this series, the Braves 1 for 3 in stolen bases and bunted foul. So an early indication from Bobby Cox that the Atlanta Braves are going to play this tight. They're looking to manufacture a run in the first inning.
Well, it looks like they're just trying to get a lead of any sort. Now, in neither game have they had the lead. So trying to get a run going in the first inning here. When you play for one run, usually that's all you get as you watch Brett Boone foul the ball off. So an indication that Bobby Cox wants to get his team in front and in a hurry.
See whether or not he'll have him bunt again. 0-1 count. In at third base, Brocious on the grass. And a timeout taken at first base by Gerald Williams.
Another reason why Bobby Cox might be thinking bunt is because Andy Pettitte gets a lot of ground ball double plays. He's probably the best sinker ball pitcher on the Yankees. A lot of grounders, and he gets himself out of a lot of trouble with the pickoff move and the ground balls.
And he almost got Gerald Williams going the wrong way on a very nonchalant move.
He's got various moves. Watch the head as he looks down, kind of looks towards home plate like he's throwing that way, and then delivers over to first. And I don't even think that was his best move. He's got a better one than that.
And again, the throw over as they expect bunt here from Boone. Now, Boone, while these throws are going over, has been squaring around. That may mean he's not bunting.
No, he's one of those college players. He out of USC.
See whether or not it's still on here. He's got the Yankees believing there's going to be a bunt and another throw over. That's the fourth throw over to first base by Andy Pettitte.
There's the leg. Now the leg cannot go behind the rubber where his left foot is. If it does, it's a balk if he throws the first. If it goes behind the rubber, he has to throw home the home plate.
Boone had 9 sacrifices during the regular season as a bunter, not bunting, and he takes the pitch up high and away, 1-1. And already, Kenny, the advantage of getting a man on early is showing up here, because now Andy Pettitte has to worry about 2 things: the runner and the hitter. Throwing more pitches, throwing to first, changes the whole complexion of the inning. 1-1 delivery. Boone again swinging away to right field. Pretty good Wood at the warning track, looking, and off the top of the wall. Williams over to third. Boone into second with a stand-up double. Brett Boone and the first 2 hitters have taken the ball the other way against Andy Pettitte.
Well, we talked about how deep it is to left center field as Don Baylor looks on. In right center and right field, it's relatively shallow, and it almost goes over the wall for a home run. O'Neill going back, and right here he gives up on the ball, knowing that he can't catch it. He gets it back in quickly, and the Braves have a runner at second and third. O'Neill gives up, knowing he won't catch it. He thinks it might go out of the ballpark. Makes a good recovery, but the Braves are in business. A double following a single here in the first inning.
So the Braves have 2 hits off Andy Pettitte. They had a total of 2 hits off El Duque and David Cone in the first 2 games. Now Chipper Jones with a chance to come through. Switch hitter, 2 for 5 in the World Series. He's got 2 in scoring position with nobody out. 5 for 14 lifetime off Andy Pettitte. And as we said, strong hitter against left-handers this year. Taking first strike, 1-1.
And he became a much stronger hitter this year through the tutelage of Don Baylor, the hitting coach. Chipper Jones, of his 45 home runs, 15 of them came from the right-hand side of the plate. He's a switch hitter. Prior to this year, he only had 13 in his career from the right-hand side of the plate.
Good cutter inside to him. 1 ball, 2 strike count from Pettitte.
A cutter is a pitch that comes in on the hands of the hitter. That's why they like to call it a cutter. It continues to move in while you start to swing the bat.
Big moment early on here in game 3. 1 ball, 2 strike count with 2 on, and Chipper Jones will take a timeout as Pettitte just lobs it in. For Jones this year, what Kenny was talking about as far as the numbers are concerned, the regular season, The switch hitting numbers improved dramatically. I mean, there were times when he was starting to think about not switch hitting anymore. 352 right-handed, 308 left-handed. 1-2 count. Runners at second and third. And a chopper. Runner coming on. Brocious can't hang on. Throw to first is in time to get the out. 1-0. Atlanta leads it. Chipper Jones will be credited with an RBI as Gerald Williams scores. Boone had to stay at second base.
Well, Scott Brocious in his haste to make the play, and I really believe he was going to come home and try and make a play at the plate on Gerald Williams. Gerald Williams trying to score. Brocious is set up to make the play, cannot make the catch cleanly, but recovers and will make the throw to first base. This is plan B. He's thinking about throwing to the plate, maybe watching the runner as he was approaching the ball. Then he recovers and throws on the first for the out, but the Braves lead 1-0.
Fourth RBI for Chipper Jones in 13 playoff games this year. Brian Jordan up and outside to him, ball one. Runner at second and one down. So the Atlanta Braves get one in the first inning. Jordan, big numbers against left-handers. .331 this year.
See Andres Galarraga sitting next to Don Baylor as Jordan takes a pitch outside. In the 1992 season, Brian Jordan was going to be sent back to the minor leagues at the beginning of the year after spring training. But Andres Galarraga, then with the Cardinals, was injured. They had to put him on the disabled list, and Brian Jordan made the team. Now, later on, Jordan was sent to the minor leagues.
2-0 delivery, hitter's pitch, and Andy Pettitte's up high, and the count goes to 3 balls and no strikes.
I really believe right here he is pitching carefully to Brian Jordan with a base open.
Here's Andrew Jones waiting on deck in the 5-hole. Jordan could do some real damage here with that swing. He's got that home run cut. 3-0 pitch to him as a strike on the outside corner.
You know, it's interesting if he does kind of a pitch around Brian Jordan and walk in with Andrew Jones coming up. If you remember back to the first game of the 1996 World Series, it was Andrew Jones who hit consecutive home runs in his first 2 major league at bats in the World Series off of Andy Pettitte.
Brian Jordan is on with a walk. Though he was very careful to him, and the Atlanta Braves with one away have runners on at first and second base. And up comes Mr. Andrew Jones.
1996. Andrew Jones, 19 years old. First 2 times up in the World Series. Homered. First one off of Andy Pettitte. And he became the youngest player that hit a home run in the World Series, a few months younger than Mickey Mantle.
Now he's all of 22.
Yeah, he's an old man now.
Runners at first and second and one out. Down to third off the fist, fouled off. He has had good success against the lefties, but like most of the Atlanta hitters, not a good postseason. Batting just .196, and he too has got an 0 for going in the World Series as he is 0 for 5. Boone off second base. Jordan off first. And the 0-1 is on the inside corner, strike 2.
When you think back to that 1996 season for Andrew Jones, you know how a young guy, 19 years old, starts out in A-ball in the minor leagues. It's the next to the rookie league. That's the lowest classification. Worked his way up to AA, AAA, then to major leagues, and goes to the World Series and hits a home run, all in the same year.
0-2 count. Just missed inside with it.
And I think for people around the world, we better explain what an organization, as I say, the Yankees or the Braves, they have minor league teams, and they start out with rookie league as we look at the last strike. Then they go to A-ball, which is next classification up the ladder to the major leagues, then AA, AAA, and then the major leagues.
1-2 delivery on the way, and a grounder towards the mound. Only one play at first base, and he'll get the out. Boone will move over to third, and Brian Jordan goes down to second base. Andrew Jones, though, the second out of the inning. And now the Braves are going to have to look for a big 2-out hit.
Here is the pitch. We mentioned Andy Pettitte's ability to get the ground ball, and that certainly looked like a hittable pitch. It was kind of in the middle of the plate, but Andrew Jones swinging late topped it right back to Andy Pettitte, who flipped the first for the out. So it looked like a hittable pitch, but Andruw Jones at that time didn't do that much with it.
Now we'll see the designated hitter rule coming into effect here in the American League ballpark. Jose Hernandez is the designated hitter for Atlanta. They, of course, do not use the DH during the regular season unless they're playing interleague games, and those are very few in number. So this is where the big advantage goes to the Yankees here in the games played in New York. 2 on in scoring position and 2 down in the first inning. Hernandez takes it down low and a 2-0 count. They have not faced each other before. Tommy Glavine, the starting pitcher, already given 1 run to work with here before he takes the mound. Hernandez strikes out a ton, among the top 5 in the National League during the regular season in strikeouts. But he's got a 2-0 count to work with here. And a 3-0 count.
Well, he's eyeballing his way ahead on the count. There is a base open at first base with 2 outs here, but Eddie Perez, who has been swinging a pretty good bat during the postseason, is on deck. Maybe the hottest of all the Atlanta Braves.
Don Baylor has to be breathing a little better here in the first inning. Towards short, Derek Jeter. So he had a green light on a 3-0, and he grounds out. Well, Bobby Cox told us before the game, we can't play little ball. We got to try and score runs. So he let him hit on 3-0. Now Tommy Glavine will go out with the 1-0 lead. Major League Baseball International's presentation of the 1999 World Series is being brought to you by MasterCard. Kenny Singleton and all of our crew here in New York. I'm Gary Thorne, and from around the world, thank you for joining us, everybody. Atlanta Braves jump out on top. They get a 1-0 lead, but I think if you ask the Braves, they'd say should have had more. Tommy Glavine comes out to see what he can do with it after coming off that flu. And the New York Yankee lineup he'll face, brought to you by MasterCard, looks like this. Chuck Knobloch leading it off. Derek Jeter second. Paul O'Neill third. Williams will be again in center field, and Bernie batting in the cleanup hole. Chili Davis the DH. Tino Martinez, Scott Brocious, Chad Curtis, and Joe Girardi the starting 9.
Time to check out the Braves on defense. In his first game at Yankee Stadium, 3rd game of the series, is going to be Williams, Jones, and Jordan. Very speedy outfield. Jones, Weiss, Boone, and Hunter in the infield. Eddie Perez doing the catching for Tom Glavine. And we have Walt Weiss at shortstop. A native of New York. Well, not New York City, upstate New York. He's from a small town called Tuxedo, New York. He's all dressed up, and he has somewhere to go.
And hopefully to catch ground balls while he's doing it. Glavine goes to work, and Knobloch fouls that one off. Strike 1. Chuck Knobloch, a good postseason. And Knobloch, a couple of hits and 8 at-bats so far in the World Series. Knobloch, Jeter, and O'Neill will lead it off for the Yankees.
We mentioned the fact of how outstanding Knobloch and Jeter, who is on deck, have been in this series. They get on and they have a tendency to score runs.
That one misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike count. There's Jeter waiting on deck in the 2-hole.
As you watch Glavine work, he has a tendency to keep the ball on the outside corner or very near it to right-handed hitters. Consistently.
Hit to right field. And dropped. Brian Jordan had it and dropped it. Throw to second, not in time. A catchable ball, not caught.
Now, I want to watch this replay closely because that is in an area where sometimes the ball gets in the light. It looks like Jordan had it. It went right in the glove. Anytime a major leaguer gets a ball in the glove, he should make the play. It looked like he saw it all the way. It just, when he reached up, just didn't hold on to it. Yep, he's watching it all the way off the end of his glove and out of it. So that's going to be scored as an error on the right fielder. And there is the glove of Brian Jordan that did not hold on to that line drive.
That is not what the Atlanta Braves needed. They have now committed 4 errors in these 3 games. And they have already given up 3 unearned runs. And Jordan charged with that one in right field. Knobloch at second base. And Jeter goes right back at him. He's got that one. Throw coming all the way to third base. Cut off. Knobloch tags and moves over.
Well, a fly ball to right field. Jeter doing his thing by advancing the runner to third, as Yankee fans like to call it a productive out, because now Knobloch's over at third base with just one out. Jeter getting a pitch away. Remember, he said Glavine likes to keep the ball away. Here's the throw to third. It's going to be cut off by the shortstop, Walt Weiss, as Knobloch would have made it anyway.
So now the Yankees have a chance to tie this ball game up in a hurry. Bobby Cox defensively is going to move the left side of the infield in to make a play at the plate or stop the runner and leave the right side back against the left-handed hitter.
Well, the thinking is, if O'Neill hits the ball to the right side of the infield, he will hit it with authority. He'll be able to pull the ball and hit it hard. To the left side, maybe not as hard, and he'll be able to cut it off before Knobloch can score.
And he goes the other way and has a base hit. Knobloch will score. Williams will play it in. Game tied at 1.
After the era, that was a manufactured run by the New York Yankees. All three Yankee hitters have hit the ball to the opposite field, and that tells you that they know that Tom Glavine's going to keep the ball on the outside portion of the plate. O'Neill sees it, recognizes right away, and flips it into left field for a base hit. With the drawn-in infield, no chance for the shortstop to get it, and as you can see, no chance for Gerald Williams as well. It's a 1-1 game. Knobloch has scored again.
4 RBIs for O'Neill, and that is an unearned run because of Jordan's error. And the Atlanta Braves continue to cough up opportunities here for the Yankees. Bernie Williams, 1 down, and Tommy Glavine outside to him. The Yankees come back in a hurry. They are swinging anything close on the first pitch here. They're going after it, knowing Glavine throws strikes. There's a Mr. Cool on the Atlanta team. You're looking at him on the mound. Line drive, double play by Hunter. Brian Hunter in a line drive. Coming off the bag, made the catch and doubled up O'Neill, who could not get back. There were only 7 pitches thrown by Tommy Glavine, but a lot of action off every one of them. Knobloch scoring. Here at Yankee Stadium tonight, the winner of the '99 Roberto Clemente Man of the Year Award was made by the commissioner. Mr. Seelig on the left, and Roberto Clemente's widow on the right on hand here, and Tony Gwynn, the '99 winner. That was before the game, and Tony was just recognized moments ago here, sitting watching the game as the fans gave him a standing ovation. The award given to the player who best exemplifies the game of baseball, both on and off the field. A lot of great stars on hand here tonight. Eddie Perez leading it off, bottom third of the order. Hunter and Weiss fouled off the other way. If I remember correctly, the Roberto Clemente Award is on the shelf at home of my partner Ken Singleton.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to win that award in 1982, and it's right on my desk at home. And you know, I don't have nearly the amount of hits that Tony Gwynn has, but I'm very proud to be in his company as far as the Roberto Clemente Award is concerned. I had a chance to play for Roberto in winter ball in 1970. He was my manager, and an outstanding man, and certainly revered in that country of Puerto Rico.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was
it's a great honor.
It was quite an honor.
1 ball, 2 strike count. There's another teammate, Dave Winfield.
A teammate of Tony Gwynn at one time, and of course a former Yankee.
And foul back. Perez keeps it at a 1 ball, 2 strike count. And interesting tonight, Kenny, we were talking about it. The commissioner was asked by the press, would there be consideration of adding Roberto Clemente to the all-century team after the fact? And he said, I do not discount that. Said we hadn't planned on doing that, but we'll see. Eddie Perez, a 1-2 delivery. And he goes after one high. First strikeout for Andy Pettitte.
Commissioner Bud Selig, who is on hand of several presentations before tonight's ball game, and including the Roberto Clemente Award. There was the Baseball Tomorrow fund between the Players Association and the management, Major League Baseball, which will give out $10 million to fund baseball throughout the United States.
Ripped into left field by Brian Hunter. And Hunter's on as he gets the start at first. He's a guy who's got a little redemption to look for here tonight. He had a couple of errors in the game in Atlanta that cost some runs when he was moved into first base to play, had not hit. Getting his first chance here in the World Series, and he comes through with a single with one down. Pitcher not hitting, so a new number 9 hitter for Atlanta, Walt Weiss.
Well, Walt Weiss is used to hitting in the 9th spot while he was with the Oakland A's. He was down in that portion of the order. He was with the A's during the time of the Bash brothers. Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire were teamed up in the middle of that order, and they were the guys that went deep. Walt Weiss was the guy who played defense.
Kenny, Walt Weiss has got a number that's kind of incredible because he's not this bad a hitter. In World Series history, Walt Weiss is 3 for 33. It is the 3rd lowest among players with at least 30 career at-bats, including Marv Owen, who hit 61, and Whitey Ford, a pitcher. And down to second base. Couldn't find the ball, Girardi. This game's starting out with all kinds of little things happening here in the first 2 innings.
Well, effectively, with the runner moving down to second, they lose a chance at a ground ball double play. Girardi could not find it. It wasn't that far away, but once Hunter recognized it, Joe Girardi was not aware where the ball was. You see it hit off the foot of Walt Weiss. There goes Hunter down to second base.
He made the stop, then couldn't find the ball. Should be a wild pitch. 1-0 count. So an RBI opportunity for Walt Weiss. 1-1 ball game. This game's starting out entirely different than the first 2 we saw. Pretty good lead at second base for Hunter, being held by Knobloch. Down and away. And Kenny, it seems to me already we are seeing more patience on the part of the Brave hitters than we saw at any time in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, we're seeing Andy Pettitte throw much more pitches than David Cone did. He's up to 35 now. Or El Duque, Orlando Hernandez in their previous 2 starts.
Strike on the outside corner. Weiss taking all the way. 3-ball, 1 strike count.
That's about, what would you say, an hour and 45, almost 2-hour flight from Atlanta to New York. I'm sure Don Baylor had his hitters cornered on that plane.
And Bobby Cox telling us before the game, Kenny, they took a lot of BP yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
Extra. 3-1 delivery. Grounder towards second. Knobloch over. Yankee fans hold their breath, and he makes the play. Hunter moves over to third, but Knobloch gets Weiss. Knobloch has had all kinds of problems throwing the ball from second base to first base. A mental thing.
Well, the runner will move over to third on the chopper to second, but Knobloch doesn't seem to have problems when he has to unload in a hurry. It's when he has plenty of time, and that's where it comes into the mental play. But this is play, he had to react in a hurry, get rid of the ball. No problems there. It's those easy rollers at second. Well, you know, when he has to throw the ball from me to you, that's when he has the problems.
He's got my disease there. 2 down again, and the Braves get a big 2-out hit. This is where they have not produced in this World Series. Williams led it off with a single, scored on the RBI ground out by Chipper Jones in the first inning. Braves are already 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They get another chance here to help Glavine. Outside, and Pettitte continues to work from behind these hitters. 2-0. Steve Ripley, the home plate umpire from the National League. Darrell Cousins, Jerry Davis, Jim Joyce, Randy Marsh, and Rocky Rowe, the umpiring crew for Game 3. Hunter at third, 2 down. 2-0 delivery. Williams has had great success against this left-hander. 8 for 16. A .500 hitter off Pettitte.
And showing patience here, even though he's ahead 2 balls and no strikes, he takes a pitch for a call strike. That was a perfect pitcher's pitch right over the outside corner.
Williams trying to put the Braves back on top. 2-1. Right back to Andy Pettitte. He gets the out. No runs. Base hit. Runner left on at third. The Braves have stranded 3 in the first 2 innings. 99 World Series Game 3, 1-1. Zip have had a lot of winners going for their 25th World Championship out there in center field. You take a look at Monument Park here at Yankee Stadium, instituted in 1932. There are 4 monuments and 17 plaques honoring the great Yankees. Out there used to be in fair play, not anymore. 97 meters left, 122 left center, 124 to deep center, 117 power alley and right, and 96 meters down the right field line.
Well, years ago they had monuments, but they didn't have the plaques on the walls. They had the granite stones out near the flagpole, and that was in play. Now they bought it in to make it a little fairer for the hitters, especially the right-handed hitters.
4 monuments are to Gehrig, Ruth, Mantle, and great manager Miller Huggins. Down the right field line, Chili Davis up, the designated hitter. 127 starts as the DH. Did not get a chance in the games in Atlanta, but the DH here in Game 3.
Chili Davis had a milestone this year, 350th home run. Darryl Strawberry, the other half of the Yankee DH tandem, has hit 335 in his career. Between them, 685 home runs. That's what the Yankees have to go to when they come to the American League Park.
Davis and Strawberry combined 22 homers, 84 RBIs. Atlanta, Hernandez and Lockhart, 265. 20 homers and 83 hits. Grounded towards short. Weiss. Davis retired.
Yeah, those numbers look quite comparable as far as the totals. But there is something to being a DH that, you know, you have to get used to being a designated hitter. You don't go out in the field. Now, Jose Hernandez and Keith Lockhart are used to playing in the field. You have to bide your time in between at bats. You have to figure out what to do. You know, I played the outfield for a number of years, and then when I became a designated hitter, I went to talk to people like Don Baylor and Hal McRae, who had been successful DHs, about what they did before going back out to the field. And they exercised, they watched TV, ate a few hot dogs, and then came up to hit.
And go hit.
Yeah.
1 down, nobody on. Tino Martinez up. Those numbers that you saw for Lockhart, who will be a designated hitter along with Hernandez, are from games almost entirely in which they were starters. Jose Hernandez came over from the Chicago Cubs, where he made most of his starts, and Lockhart made a number of starts for the Atlanta Braves at second base and a few at short. 1-1. Left center, right center field and deep, but Andrew Jones will haul it in. Martinez retired, 2 down. Tommy Glavine working on 11 days of rest here, or 10 days rest actually, 11th day.
Kind of a high fastball. Tino Martinez and Chad Curtis on the Yankees are the 2 best high ball hitters. See Eddie Perez reach up for the ball. It was a pitch up in the zone. See, it didn't quite have that home run sound when it was hit, and Andrew Jones ran it down. Now, Tom Glavine will say, well, that's one I got away with, because that was up where Tino Martinez likes it.
Scott Brocious. Bear in mind, everybody's keeping an eye on Tommy Glavine in the Atlanta dugout. When you come off the flu and you've been sick and you lost 7 pounds and you haven't really thrown hard since last Thursday, you wonder what your stamina is going to be. So he wants short innings. No long pitch innings for him, because that's what will wear him out in tonight's game. And generally he gets out of innings with a limited number of pitchers anyway, because he's a control pitcher. 1-1. Brocious broken bat, fly ball, center field. Jones again comes in, and that's the kind of inning he wants. So he has thrown only 16 pitches so far in this ball game for Tommy Glavine. Leo Mazzoni, that'll keep him happy. 1-1. And the moon trying to make its way through some partly cloudy skies here in New York. Want to remind you, if you're still trying to make the major leagues, log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com. video highlights, and live game audio. You can play online fantasy video games and purchase the latest clothing at the official store, MajorLeagueBaseball.com, and we invite you to email us here in New York, feedback, MajorLeagueBaseball.com. We're ready to go. Here's Brett Boone will lead it off, and we want to thank Matthew Carter from Sydney in Australia, who wanted to know, why don't you add a microphone to the umpires so we can hear some of those heated discussions that they have with managers and players. Brett Boone, right center field, got a lot of it. Williams back, looking up. That's going to hit the base of the wall. Boone's on his way to second, and he'll stop there with his second double. So Brett Boone, who was pulled in the last game, came on as a pinch hitter in game 2, delivered a hit, and now has consecutive doubles and 2 at-bats here in game 3. 4 hits in the series, 3 of them 2 baggers.
Well, Bobby Cox has Boone in there again in the second slot, and he has gone the other way. Well, maybe no microphones on the umpires, but we do have them on the walls. Listen to this.
You know, I think that Matthew Carter answered his own question so you could hear the heated discussions with the managers and the players.
That is Boone's 3rd straight double, going back to his pinch hit performance in game 2. There is a good reason why they don't, because they're trying to keep baseball a family sport, and if they heard some of the things that went on in those arguments, kids under a certain age, under 21, wouldn't be able to watch ball games.
Strike in the inside corner. So the Atlanta Braves again with a chance to get the lead. He got the RBI and a ground ball out. 2 for 6 so far in the series. Chipper Jones, a number 3 hitter. Runner at second base is Boone. And he chases one way out of the strike zone.
It appeared that Chipper Jones is trying to hit the ball to right field, and he thought he had a pitch he can handle. The target is inside, but the pitch is up and out over the plate, and he swings through it.
It's had a frustrating postseason for Chipper Jones so far. Yankee fans up for the strikeout. Chipper Jones inside out. Will move the runner up. Good play by Jeter. He didn't get much on that, but he will get Boone over to third base with 1 away.
Good recognition by Boone on the bases that the ball was going to be behind him, and he'd been able to advance on the ground ball. Chipper Jones somehow got that ball off of him and by Andy Pettitte and moved Boone over. Watch him inside out, as Gary called it. What that means is you're trying to force the ball the other way. You see how late the swing actually is? And Andy Pettitte trying to keep him from hitting the ball to the right side, threw everything in on his hands. Boone, good base running as he moves over to third.
Brian Jordan. So a chance to make up for an error that he committed that created an unearned run for the Yankees, and a chance to get out of his over as he had to walk his first time up. The infield has moved in now with Boone on at third. In a 1-1 game, Yankees will try and prevent that run from scoring.
While Joe Torre brings him in because Andy Pettitte is a ground ball pitcher.
And a base hit to right field. Brian Jordan indeed gets a little retribution. RBI single as Boone scores, and Jordan gets his first hit of the series as he is now 1 for 8, and it's 2-1 Atlanta.
Isn't it interesting that all the balls that have been hit well by the Braves have gone to the opposite field, and the same approach can be for the Yankees against Tom Glavine, trying to hit the ball the other way. Pitches out over the plate, nice approach, cutting down your swing. Brave hitters seem to be more relaxed tonight, not trying to do too much at the plate and coming through with the base hits. There's a look at the line drive with the infield in. O'Neill plays it on the high.
Now Andrew Jones up with Jordan on at first base, and Pettitte, who throws over a lot, will do so here. He has base runners leaning back towards the bag. Against Andy Pettitte, base stealers 16 for 23 during the season. Not a lot of chances really, because it's so hard to run off it. Breaking ball, check swing on it, and he held up, did not go around. Ball 1. 0 for 6 so far in the World Series for Andrew Jones. Hitting just 196 in the postseason.
Yeah, Bobby Cox mentioned that the running game is just about shut down with Pettitte on the mound.
Here's why, Kenny.
Well, is he going to throw to home or is he going to throw to first base? Can you tell us which one is which? Wow. When he gets to the top there, I couldn't tell where he was going to throw. When he brings that leg up, I guess he makes his mind up right there. And that time it was going to first base.
Hitters will try and pick up little things off a pitcher, like when he throws to first base, does he always look to the plate?
Andy Pettitte varies his move. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. And that's the secret of his ability to pick runners off.
That time he stared right over and made the throw. 8 throws so far in this game over to first base. Jordan's trying to get a read, trying to find some little secret that tells him when he's going to the plate and when he's going to throw to first so he can get a bigger lead. 1-1, and that's fouled off on the inside pitch. A ball and 2 strikes on Andrew Jones. Andy Pettitte is very deliberate in everything he does on the mound, but especially in that windup, Ken. Hitters really have to be patient waiting at the plate for him.
The pitchers, all pitchers have a tendency to really slow things down when they get runners on, because each pitch is important. They don't want the runners on to score. So they think over what they're going to throw. You can see Andy say, I didn't see the signs. Give me the signs again, speaking to his catcher, Joe Girardi. Now, Joe will, the fingers, with nobody at second base, the signs should be fairly uncomplicated. There's one. Usually means a fastball.
1 ball, 2 strike count. And that one in the air off the fist, left field, not deep. Curtis can't get it. Stopping at second base will be Jordan. So out of the 0 for's Andrew Jones. He gets his first World Series hit as he's now 1 for 7. And they aren't exactly, well, they've had a couple of shots off Andy Pettitte, but there've also been a couple of these.
Yeah, but when you get the blue pits, those are the kind that really get you going from time to time. If you've been struggling. We saw Gerald Williams get a base hit leading off the game, kind of a bloop. Now this is a pitch that looks like it's up out of the zone. Andrew Jones doesn't get much of it, but he gets enough to drop it in front of the on-charging Chad Curtis in left field for a base hit. And the Braves keep the inning going.
Designated hitter Jose Hernandez with 2 on and 1 away. Andy Pettitte wants that double play ground ball right here. Not going to get it down the line left field. That'll be in the corner. That's going to score at least 1. Coming across will be Jordan. Andrew Jones the turn, the relay, none from Jeter. A 2 RBI double for Hernandez, the designated hitter, and it's 4-1 Atlanta.
Well, you saw the pitch that Andrew Jones hit. It was a breaking ball that was up. Now this pitch to Jose Hernandez is in almost the exact same area. Yeah, he got to keep that ball down around the knees. That was thigh high, and Hernandez doesn't waste any time. The Braves have come to New York and they have found their bats. They are swinging a lot better tonight, and they have 7 hits off of Andy Pettitte, and they lead by 3.
And a runner at second base, still only 1 away. And Eddie Perez fouls that one back. 7 hits tonight. They came into this game with 7 hits in the first 2 games. They have already equaled the output. They also came in having scored a total of 2 runs off starters. They are getting to Andy Pettitte. That one to left field. Chad Curtis has a play. That'll force a runner back to second base. Eddie Perez retired for the 2nd out.
Well, he talked about the spacious left field of Yankee Stadium, and left fielders have to have speed. Curtis has it. Ball rattles around on the rebound. Jeter comes up with the relay, but Andrew Jones has good speed and scored all the way from first base. It's 3:18 down the line. It's close, but see how quickly it swings out and around finally to that 399 sign in left center field.
Brian Hunter coming up with 2 down, and Hunter takes that cutter fastball inside, ball 1. Atlanta had scored a total of 3 runs in the first 2 games, being outscored 11-3. They already have 4 runs, and we're only in the 3rd inning of this one. 1-0 delivery. Runner goes as Pettitte didn't look at him. Stolen base. So Jose Hernandez just took off and gets to third.
You might say, what is the advantage of moving over to third with 2 outs? First of all, with the third baseman back deep, he's not apt to cover the bag as quickly. Jose Hernandez feels like he can make it, and he made it easily. Grosh's not even near the bag. They just let him steal it.
Now wild pitch can score him. Pass ball.
That is the advantage of moving up 90 feet.
1-1 with 2 down. Pettitte into the full windup here. And that misses inside. 2-ball 1 strike count on Brian Hunter. Pettitte pitched against Atlanta during the regular season when the Braves won 2 out of 3 games against New York. He got a win on July 13. 11-4. Yankees won that game. He went 5 2/3 innings. Gave up 3 runs, 7 hits. Down to third. Foul ball. Hernandez had to get out of the way.
You notice Hernandez getting down out of the way. Now, one thing you're taught when you're at third base, when you take your lead and walk down the line, you walk down in foul territory. Because if the ball hits you, then it's just a foul ball. But if you're in fair territory on the right-hand side of that line, if you're hit by the ball, then you're out because you get hit by a ball in fair territory.
2-2, 2 down. And reaching for it to right field. Paul O'Neill. And he's got it. Hunter retired, but a 3-run inning for the Atlanta Braves. They did it on 3 hits, leaving just 1 base runner on. And here in game 3, Atlanta's taken the 4-1 lead. In the 3rd inning, he, of course, also a former football player, the National Football League. Had a chance to ask him, what's the difference between baseball, football for you?
With football, you can be very aggressive. You can just let it hang out emotionally and just be a wild man. But I learned early in my career that in baseball, you have to be patient. You can have that aggressive attitude defensively when you're on the base pass and even at the bat, at the plate. But, yet you have to be patient. You have to take what the pitcher gives you to be successful.
He's a pretty aggressive hitter. May not be able to hit anybody, but he hits the ball pretty aggressively.
He told me a story during that interview about facing Brett Saberhagen for the very first time, and Brett Saberhagen threw a pitch up and in, right underneath his chin, and he got that football mentality back real quickly as Chad Curtis is at the plate, and he swung at the next 3 pitches that were over his head and got himself out. He came back to the bench, and Ozzie Smith said, now there's a lesson to you. You went back to football and got yourself out being over aggressive. Get pitches in the strike zone. Brett Saberhagen won that match because he knew he could shake you up.
Lesson learned. Chad Curtis for the Yankees, who are down 4-1. Curtis 52 starts. Paul O'Neill's practicing his hitting with the phantom bat. Tommy Glavine with a 2-1 delivery. That'll be foul back. It'll be Curtis, Girardi, and then the top of the order Knobloch against Glavine. He's throwing strikes. 4-3 in World Series history for him. Tommy Glavine has a 2-0 mark against the Yankees in the regular season, but 0-1 in his 1 World Series start against New York back in '96. 2-2 delivery off the fist, left field. Williams will drift under. Curtis has retired, 1 away.
Well, a lot of scouting going on in the major leagues. These are the scouting reports that the Yankees have on the Braves hitters, and it looks like El Duque is going to school on the Atlanta Braves hitters. On the other side, they have scouting reports on him. It looks like his scouting reports are a little better than the ones that the Braves had in Game 1.
Your scouting reports telling my scouting reports.
It all boils down to execution. That's what it boils down to.
Still got to do it. Joe Girardi up and a 1-0 count on him. They keep that on hand. It gets added to for the postseason. Generally, there's 1 lead scout for the team, each team in the majors. That one hit in the air to right field. Pretty good wood at the wall by Girardi, and Jordan hauls it in. Fine play by Brian Jordan. Would not have been out of the ballpark, but it would have been off the top of the wall. So Jordan, after the first inning errors, come through with an RBI hit, and now a fine defensive play.
Girardi hit the ball well, but I said it didn't have that sound. Usually when a ball's going out of the park, it has a different sound. Good concentration, bounding up against the wall, holds on and makes the catch. Here's that football mentality. What wall? We almost ran right through it for the out.
Glavine's got 2 down and nobody on.
And one thing you notice with the walls in the outfields in all stadiums in the major leagues, with the exception of Wrigley Field, they're all padded. Years ago, when I was playing, outfielders weren't quite as expensive, and the walls were not padded. Nowadays, when they're making $8, $9, maybe $10 million a year, they protect them a lot better.
Used to be a couple of parks that actually had chain link fences in them, where players would hurt their hands and arms. Knobloch's got an extra base hit into the corner. Gerald Williams will chase it down. Knobloch on his way to second base with a 2-out double. So he's reached twice, an error and a 2-bagger.
Chuck Knobloch hit the ball to right center his first time. This time gets the ball down in the zone. That's where he likes a good low ball hitter, and jerks it into the left field corner. Not much that Gerald Williams could do. He was shifted all the way around towards left center field. Has to go right into the corner, gets it back in. Knobloch with an easy stand-up double.
7 hits for the Braves, and the Yankees put their second hit up. They had a single from O'Neill in the first inning off Glavine. Now Derek Jeter.
You've heard me use the term high ball hitter, low ball hitter. Certain hitters like pitches in certain areas where they do their most damage, hit the ball the best. Some guys like it down low, knee, thigh high. Other guys up around the waist.
Derek Jeter likes it anywhere and has taken advantage of wherever it's been thrown, as he's successfully now in 15 postseason games. The record for the most postseason hits in consecutive games, Hank Bauer, 17 times, New York Yankees. And then Pat Borders, who was with Toronto. Derek Jeter has not had one in this game, but the previous 15 postseason he has. Marquise Grissom and Rickey Henderson, that same number. Jeter tried to add to it here. 1-1.
Hank Bauer was an outfielder with the Yankees back in the I believe late 40s and 50s, and he played on those great Yankee ball clubs in the early 50s. That won the World Series several times, along with the likes of Yogi Berra and when Mickey Mantle first came up.
1-1 delivery to him. Glavine floated that one outside. 2-ball, 1 strikeout. Andy Pettitte looking for some run support, but the Yankees down by 3.
After giving up 3 runs in the 3rd inning, the thoughts through his mind should be, that's going to be my bad inning. I'll try and shut down the Braves from this point on. Mel Stoudemire, the pitching coach, and Chris Chambliss, the hitting coach.
We should mention Luis Sojo is back, Kenny. The Yankees played a man short for the first 2 games in Atlanta. Sojo's dad passed away. He went home to Venezuela for the funeral. Sojo is back with the ball club, so they are at full complement of personnel. There he is.
Important part of the New York Yankees.
Outside corner strike. Glavine has just gone a fraction of an inch further in on each of the last 3 pitches, seeing where the strike's going to come.
It is just catching the outside corner, or did it? That looked away, didn't it? But that's where you got to look with Glavine. He basically keeps the ball away.
3-ball, 2-strike count. Runner at second base. And he got him on an inside fastball. Glavine setting Jeter up. He did not agree with, I don't think, either of those called strikes. And talking with home plate umpire Steve Ripley about it, but he was looking for something away, and Glavine. Yankee Stadium, Major League Baseball International bringing you the 1999 World Series Game 3 with the Atlanta Braves 4-1, and no matter what, there will be a tomorrow. John Smoltz will be the starter against Rocket Roger Clemens. We'll be on the air tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern, midnight Greenwich Mean Time, for Game 4 right back here at Yankee Stadium. Wherever you are, we hope that you will join us. Walt Weiss leads it off against Andy Pettitte. And we want to thank Aaron Jones from Sydney, Australia, who asked us that question. Most consecutive games hitting streak in the postseason. So we showed you that one with Hank Bauer just for you. Weiss grounded out his first time up. And misses down low with it again. 2-0. George Steinbrenner, principal owner, New York Yankees.
Well, he's usually not in the stands here. He's in the owner's box. It was up on our level here, but tonight he's out amongst them.
Just wants to be one of the common folk here in Game 3. He saw Ted Turner and Jane in Atlanta sitting out there in those box seats and felt badly about sitting upstairs, eating caviar and drinking champagne. A grounder back to the mound. Andy Pettitte makes the play, and Weiss is 0 for 2.
Yeah, let me feel that bad.
He's kind of staring out there at his starter, isn't he?
His man who doesn't like to lose. His team is down 4-1. It's still early in the ball game.
He's a man who wanted to trade tonight's starter. It was his manager and pitching coach who didn't. Gerald Williams showing bunt, takes it down low for a ball. 1 for 2, single and a run scored for Williams. He's now 1 for 10 in the series.
See if the Braves follow their approach that they've been using early in this game, trying to hit the ball to the opposite field on Andy Pettitte.
Shows bunt again. They are taking a ton more pitches in this game than they did in the first 2.
And Andy Pettitte's missing with strike 1, which is the most important pitch in baseball from a pitcher's standpoint, to get ahead of the hitters.
That one drilled to center field. Bernie Williams backing up. 408 to deep center at the wall. And off the top of it. Williams will make the turn and head to third. Bernie Williams had to chase it down, and a triple for Gerald Williams off the center field wall.
Well, that is over 400 feet to straightaway center field, and I thought Bernie Williams was going to make this play. Now let's see what actually happens at the tail end as the ball nears the wall. 2-0 pitch. He got pretty good wood on it. Bernie looks like he leaps and just over the glove. If he had gone back a half step more, I think he would have made the play. Watch him check the wall. He leaps, and he's too far away from the wall. I think he could have made the play. Off the top of the wall and in with a triple is Gerald Williams.
Infield in, and a base hit by Brett Boone. That will score Williams. Is he going to get another double? Into second base with an RBI double. That's 3 in the ball game and 4 in a row. And the fans booing Andy Pettitte as the Atlanta Braves add another, and it's 5-1.
This will go as an RBI 2-base hit for Brett Boone, and he's been nothing but double trouble for the New York Yankees. 3rd consecutive double in this game. This time, instead of right center, he pulls it by Scott Brosius at third. Brosius off the line. On by him, Gerald Williams will score easily, and as the ball heads to the corner, Brett Boone is heading towards second base with the 2-base hit. You notice the umpire down the left field line, Randy Marsh, following the ball in the corner. He wants to make sure that no fans interfere with the ball as it's in play.
Boone gets his 4th RBI in the postseason. And as we said, 4 consecutive doubles. He's got two RBIs against the Yankees. Torrey sent Stottlemyre out. There's Boone. And you got to believe when he was set in game 2 and did not start at second base, he was not happy about it. And he's come back here tonight intending to show his manager, Bobby Cox, you're not going to have to do that again.
Yeah, well, he started to show him in the last game as Jason Grimsley warms up in the Yankee bullpen. He might be next after Andy Pettitte. When he sent him up there to pinch hit, he got a double.
Runner at second, 1 down. Chipper Jones will wait. 5 extra base hits in this game for Atlanta. They had 2 extra base hits in the first 2 games.
One of them being a home run by Chipper Jones off of El Duque.
Big cut taken by Jones, who's 0 for 2.
Chipper Jones represents the best of any organization. He was a former #1 draft pick. When you have a draft pick that's #1, usually they get a lot of money to begin with. He was drafted out of high school in Florida. And when your #1 pick comes along and becomes an all-star type player like Chipper Jones, it's really a pat on the back for the whole organization. Your scouts, your development people, and at the big league level, when he turns into a star, a 4-time all-star, you know, that you point to him and say, this is what we want to do all the time when we make a draft. We want players to turn out like Chipper Jones.
0-1 the count. There goes Boone. Throw down to third. And got him. Boone trying to steal on Girardi, and Girardi throws him out.
Trying to get over to third base with 1 out. There's the pitch. Now watch Girardi just come out of there like he shot out of a cannon. There's a throw right on the money. All Scott Brosius had to do was drop the glove down on the sliding Brett Boone. Here's the attempt at third. Brosius trying to hold his ground as long as possible, and there's the throw that gets him out.
Fouled up and foul outside of first, and no play. Girardi threw him out 25% of the time during the season. Kind of surprising there, Kenny, because you got Chipper Jones at the plate, the middle of your order, RBI producers. That Boone would even be going. He is not a base stealer.
He's not a base stealer, although he had a career high 14 this year. That's nowhere near the league lead. But the fact is that he's trying to get over to third and make something happen. If you're going to try that when you're ahead by 4 runs, that's the time to try it. Be aggressive on the bases.
Unhappy he didn't make it.
Looked like he's a little shaken up.
That one drilled towards the gap in left center field. Ernie Williams, nice play to cut it off. Holds Chipper Jones to a single.
There's your point, Gary, about with Chipper Jones at the plate. Another pitch that was up in the zone. Chipper Jones lines it in for the base hit. And Boone thrown out at third. Now watch the headlong dive. He's going to try and slide. It looks like he got caught up in the dirt and is tagged out. And that base hit by Chipper Jones has been it for Andy Pettitte.
So he works 3 2/3 innings in this game and gives up 10 hits in 3 2/3 innings and 5 runs. He will leave responsible for the base runner Chipper Jones on at first. Not a good outing for Andy Pettitte here at home in New York. Atlanta leads at 5-1. We'll pick up the Yankee bullpen when we come back. Yankee Stadium in New York, where the Atlanta Braves are trying to get their first win of this '99 World Series. They lead at 5-1, and they have driven the starter, Andy Pettitte, out of this ball game as he could not keep the Atlanta bats down, including Brett Boone, who had 3 doubles off him.
Boone and Klesko talking something over, and usually when you have 2 hitters talking, it has to do with hitting. Andy Pettitte thinking about the start. 3 2/3 innings, 10 hits. Certainly one of his worst performances since the All-Star game.
Jason Grimsley, the right-hander, up high to Brian Jordan.
It's been a season of 2 halves for Jason Grimsley. He was outstanding in the first half. You can see his record overall very good. 7-2, 3.60. He's primarily a 1-pitch pitcher, and it is an excellent sinker. But too many walks. 40 walks in 75 innings.
And that misses way up high. Grimsley's making his first postseason appearance this year for the Yankees.
He was not on the roster for the American League Championship Series. The thinking by Joe Torre and the Yankee staff when they went with Hideki Arabu against the Boston Red Sox, thinking that they could put Arabu in a game and leave him in there. And essentially the game that the Red Sox won, Arabu took a pounding, but they didn't have to change pitchers because you don't have to pinch hit. In these games, feeling that Grimsley could come back quicker the next day, especially in games played in the National League parks.
Grimsley with a 2-0 count on Jordan, runner at first base, and he's up high again. 3-0 count. Andy Pettitte's line so far responsible for Chipper Jones on at first. An amazing turnaround for the Atlanta bats to have picked up those 10 hits here in this game. And Brett Boone with the 3 doubles, run scored, and an RBI. Strike taken, 3-1.
Grimsley's kind of bounced around during his career as we look at Don Baylor, who seems to be in a lot better mood tonight than he has been the first 2 games of this series.
But a long way to go. We're just in the 4th inning.
Grimsley's been with Cleveland, Philadelphia, the Angels.
Runner goes. And a walk. So Grimsley comes on and walks the first batter he faces as Brian Jordan goes down to first. Runners at first and second here in the 4th inning with 2 down.
Grimsley has gone so far as to seek the advice of a sports psychologist and trying to get his thoughts just on the catcher's glove and not think about all the outside distractions. And the first half of the season it seemed to work. He was excellent. Threw a lot of strikes, had a great movement on his sinker, but in the second half he just not as effective.
My daughter is a sports psychologist, so you got to keep going back.
Oh, is that what?
Oh, yeah. In order to be effective,
okay.
You have to keep going back, keep getting the bills, keep paying it, keep going back. That's what it's all about, you know.
Yeah, but when you're the father of a sports psychologist, you get free treatment.
I tell her to stay as far away from me as she can get. I've screwed up now, and that's the way it's going to stay. 2 down. Boone and Baylor going over those hitting charts we were talking about.
Probably on Jason Grimsley,
as he had not seen Grimsley before. 2 down. Andrew Jones up with runners at first and second base, and he bloops that one towards Knobloch, and he'll haul it in. So Grimsley gets the final out here, but another run added against Andy Pettitte here in the 4th inning, and the Braves, trying to get win number 1 in this '99 World Series behind Tommy Glavine, have a 5-1 lead. Action in a program that covers all the bases, so keep your eye on Baseball Max and check the local listings in your country for airtime. Yankee Stadium in New York, and for Andy Pettitte on the home turf tonight, not the start he had hoped to have.
Well, we talked about how the first 2 hitters are usually the setup guys in the batting order. In the first 2 games of the series, the Atlanta 1-2 hitters in their lineups went 2 for 16. There is Brett Boone with the 3 doubles tonight. He and Gerald Williams have combined tonight to go 5 for 6 with 3 runs scored and 1 run batted in. So Bobby Cox getting more production from the top of the order.
And a fine performance from Glavine. That's a fair ball, and O'Neill's out. Paul O'Neill just tipped that, and it hit out in front of home plate, and quickly Eddie Perez picked it up and tagged him out. Joe Torre's coming out to talk with the home plate umpire, Steve Ripley, as to whether or not that was a fair ball.
And it appeared that it was. Now watch Paul O'Neill with the check swing. Now the ball hits behind home plate, but it doesn't stay there. Eddie Perez waits till it rolls into fair territory, picks it up. There's the signal by the umpire, and O'Neill is out. This is frustrating for a hitter. He checks his swing, gets enough of the ball, and puts enough overspin on it that it spins back towards the field. Eddie Perez waits, comes out, picks it up. It is definitely a fair ball, and Paul O'Neill is out. That is probably the shortest distance he has ever hit a ball in his life.
You can't do that if you try.
Yeah, inches, or for you out there, millimeters. That's what it was.
A millimeter out.
Yep, a silly millimeter.
That's all it took. So 1 down on the unassisted putout by the catcher. And Glavine outside to Bernie Williams, who hit into a double play his first time up. One down. World Series 3 for 7. 2-0 delivery to second base. Brett Boone, who is playing deep.
When you think about turning points in a ball game, you might want to go back to Bernie Williams' line drive double play out in the first inning. The Yankees had already scored a run. They had a man on first. And if the ball gets by the first baseman, Brian Hunter, it's headed for the corner. And the Yankees are doing more business in the first inning. So a line drive out double play might have been an early turning point in this game. Tommy Glavine got that DP ball off the bat of Bernie Williams.
Chili Davis coming up with 2 down. Paul O'Neill still wondering, what was that at bat? How did I do that? One of the most intense players on the Yankees team. Taken outside for a ball. Paul O'Neill. We were asking before the game manager Joe Torre about O'Neill coming back. The Yankees have to decide on an option whether to bring him back. Torre said heart of the team right there. 1-0 outside. Davis, designated hitter, grounded out his first time up.
Veteran player. In fact, he is third on the all-time list of runs batted in. Speaking of Chili Davis, among active players, only Harold Baines of Cleveland now and Cal Ripken are ahead of him in runs batted in.
He's had a couple of hits off Tommy Glavine in their home runs. 2 for 11 in his career against Glavine. Game 3 here in New York. We had an email from Panama City Beach, Florida. Johnny Holt. How did that happen? He wanted to know, how is the field for the first 2 games of the World Series selected?
It alternates every other year. One year the World Series will start in the American League Park and one year in the National League. So it started in Atlanta this year. Next year the World Series will start in the American League Representatives Ballpark. They alternate from year to year.
There you go, Johnny. Popped up. Right field. And Jordan's got it. That'll do it. Another good inning for Glavine. Only 41 pitches thrown by Glavine so far, including the one to O'Neill that ended up that silly millimeter away. Atlanta leading at 5-1, trailing in the series 2-0. Previous 45 occasions when a team has won the first 2, that team has captured game 3 19 times, 42% of the time. A team that has won the first 2 also wins game 3. Atlanta's trying to lower that number. The Braves 5 runs, 10 hits and an error. The Yankees a run that's unearned with just 2 hits off Tommy Glavine. And Grimsley stays on out of the bullpen for New York.
Amazing thing about percentages like that, Gary, they change every year depending on what happens in the World Series.
Yep. Fun for comparison purposes, but don't tell you very much about the game going on in front of you. 1-0 delivery to Hernandez. Right field. Boy, the ball is carrying out there tonight. O'Neill hauls it in. Hernandez retired, 1 away. There's not much of a wind blowing here in New York tonight. Very light breeze. It really isn't affecting any of these balls, but the ball just seems to be carrying. Some of these balls have not been hit that hard, nor on the best part of the bat.
Another thing here tonight that you notice a lot of the players in short sleeves. That was certainly not the case in Atlanta, where it was very cold.
This is a perfect night for baseball. 1-0 count on Eddie Perez.
Eddie Perez actually did get into the 1996 World Series between these 2 teams, but he only had 1 at bat, went 0 for 1.
He's battling with the bad knees that have bothered him all year long, and a hand that's bothering him, Kenny.
Well, when you catch John Rocker in that fastball upwards of near 100 miles an hour, he had a blood vessel burst in his hand. There's Javi Lopez, who's out for the season following knee surgery. He should be ready by spring training. Javi Lopez, the #1 catcher for the Braves, and Eddie Perez has done an admirable job of filling in. He's had a career high 86 starts this year behind home plate for Atlanta. And usually Eddie Perez was just relegated to catching Greg Maddux when he pitched. That was a chance for Javi Lopez to get some time off.
2:49 during the regular season, and that one up the middle. Knobloch makes a fine stop. Won't get it in time, though. Eddie Perez will be credited with an infield hit. The 11th base hit. Knobloch all he could on that one, and gets up slowly after sliding in the outfield grass.
Yeah, we mentioned Knobloch with all the problems that he's had fielding, and they're mostly throwing errors this year, 26. But he was a Gold Glove winner 2 years ago. I mean, he was thought of as the best second baseman in the American League. Broke a long string of awards by Roberto Alomar, who had won that award, I think, 7 years in a row before Knobloch won it. But of course, Alomar got it. He's going to get it again this year.
Knobloch all right, and back at second base. Runner on at first now with 1 away, and Brian Hunter. Hunter had a base hit and is flied out. So in this game, the offer is being done away with. Atlanta players without hits coming in. Williams, Jordan, Andruw Jones, Hernandez, Perez all have picked up a hit in this game. All did not have one in the first two. Only Walt Weiss is left in that group. Down to third, Scott Brocious to second base. Knobloch the relay, not in time. Force out on Perez. 5-4 at second, and a fielder's choice for Brian Hunter.
Tough to turn a double play on such a slowly hit ball. And a lot of third basemen would have gone on and thrown to first base, but Scott Brocious decides to go across the body, makes the accurate throw to Knobloch for one. The relay is not in time, and you saw the runner going into second base, Eddie Perez, trying to upset Knobloch at second, and he got some pressure on him, but the ball wasn't hard enough to turn two.
Play by Brocious at third to get the lead runner. Now the number 9 hitter, Walt Weiss, switch hitter. Turn around and bat left-handed here. Takes the pitch inside for a ball. 2 down.
We talked about Gold Gloves. A lot of players here in this World Series who have won them in the past, and you do actually get a Golden Glove from the Rawlings Company. It's not solid gold. It's just a glove that's painted gold. And years ago, I played with Brooks Robinson, and he won more than anybody else. He won 16 of them. And Brooks, you went down to the steps to his family room in his house, and he had one on each step. He had 16 steps. He had 16 Gold Gloves. So you had a good feeling. Even if you fell down the stairs, something would catch you.
He had to retire from baseball because he ran on the stairs. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Weiss. He's trying to get out of the 0 for 4 here in the World Series. Weiss, a switch hitter who had a little bit better numbers from this side of the plate during the regular season. 235 left-handed and 200 right-handed. Jason Grimsley, 32-year-old right-hander, got it into him and a base hit, so he does get out of it. And there are no more offers in this lineup in the World Series for the Atlanta Braves. Hit number 12 for Atlanta. 2 on and 2 down.
Now, as we talked to Bobby Cox before the game, it's the number 1 thing he emphasized for this game. We have to swing the bats. And they have been doing it. 12 hits in the first 4 2/3 innings for the Atlanta Brave hitters.
We asked Bobby before the game, and Don Baylor, the hitting instructor, you know, did this happen during the regular season where everybody went dead at once? And Bobby said, oh, yeah. There was a series they had in Montreal where nobody hit, another one in Toronto where nobody hit. 2 down, and Gerald Williams up.
But the sense of urgency is there in the World Series. This isn't a protracted regular season where you can go 2 or 3 games without hitting. You got to start getting it together. And to the credit of the Braves hitters, they have done it tonight. Everybody in the starting lineup has at least 1 hit.
2 on. They still need, though, even with a 5-1 lead, they still need that big hit. They have stranded runners so far in every inning. 6 total. Brett Boone's gone 3 for 3 already. They need that one to blow the doors off a little bit in the middle of the game, and they've not been able to find it. 2 on. Hunter and Weiss, the base runners. Williams takes a strike on the outside corner. 1 and 2. Grimsley trying to get out of it here.
Makes a nice pitch right to the glove of Joe Girardi for a call strike.
One-two delivered. Left field. Chad Curtis coming. Plenty of time. Grimsley works his way out of it. And how important was that play by Brocious to get the lead runner at second base, because it was followed up with a single by Weiss that could have scored another run. Curtis gets the final out here and 2 more.